So you're thinking about moving to the Bulverde area? Well, today I've got my pros and cons that you need to know before moving here or living here. So stay tuned. Hello everyone, I'm Doug Vogel. I'm a real estate agent and a firefighter here in the area. So you're thinking about moving to Bulverde. Well, that's definitely a wise choice. It's a beautiful area and you're going to love it here, but there's definitely some pros and cons to living here. And so I just want to make sure that you know everything that you should know before moving here or living here. So let's get started. These items are not in any specific order, so I just wanted to throw as much information out there for you. So let's get started with number one. The first pro that you need to know is the proximity of Bulverde to San Antonio, New Braunfels, Blanco, Boerne, all those towns. For the most part, you are centrally located and within 20, 25 minutes, maybe 30 to any one of those towns. For San Antonio, it depends on what part of San Antonio you're going to, but you can be in San Antonio at any kind of shopping that you could desire within 20 to 25 minutes. New Braunfels is a great town as well. For the most part, they have all the shopping, anything that you can need as well. They're about 20 to 25 minutes. And then if you go north towards Blanco, it's a great little town. It's not a whole lot there, but they have a great little square, some good restaurants around the square. Just a great little town. It's fun to go to. And if you go west towards Boerne, that's going to be about 30 minutes drive there from Bulverde, but they have a great downtown area. The main street goes through and there's lots of shopping all the way through, bed and breakfast places, and it's just a fun place to spend the afternoon. So like I said, in my book, that's definitely a pro. You're centrally located to anything that you need at all or desire. So definitely a great thing for Bulverde. Definitely one con of Bulverde is the traffic. Now, being so close to San Antonio and New Braunfels, Boerne, and Blanco, we're centrally located, but we also get a lot of traffic that comes from these towns through Bulverde because it's kind of centrally located. Now, Bulverde has two major highways that go through town. There's State Highway 46 that goes east and west, and Highway 281 that goes north and south. So with all that traffic from different towns, most of them are cutting through Bulverde, and it's just sometimes it snarls traffic. And Highway 46 going east and west is a two-lane highway. So with that, there's a few stoplights and things just start to slow down, especially in the mornings and the evenings. So you have to plan accordingly on that. Now there are plans to make it a wider highway, and they've already started clearing, and so all in time will that be done. But until then, you need to know that Highway 46 can be kind of a mess, especially in the mornings and evenings when you're coming home. Okay, let's take a quick break. If you like what you see, make sure you leave a comment below. And if you have any questions, make sure you look at my contact information below. And I'll be happy to get back with you. So let's get going to the next pro and con. One thing about Bulverde is that we have a lot of local shops to go to. Yes, we have the H-E-B, Walmart, and Home Depot here, but I'm big about supporting our locals. So downtown Bulverde has a lot of little local shops. You can go grab a glass of wine and a dessert and visit the local shops down there and support them. Speaking of local shops, we also have Faithville Shopping Center, which is on Highway 46, like you're headed towards New Braunfels. That's a great place to go. We have the Branch Restaurant, which is a good hamburger place. You can go there. My family and I and kids, we go there quite often. So the shopping center has several other little places that you can go to, little boutiques. And then last is Spring Creek Nursery, which is on Highway 281 north, like you're headed towards Blanco. That's a great place. Yes, it's a nursery for plants and stuff, but they also have lots of other stuff that you can get for the house, and they often have little events for kids too, so it's a plus for anybody that has small kiddos. One thing about Bulverde is that it is known for some of the really good schools. Bulverde is covered by Comal ISD, and there's a few schools such as Bill Brown and Smithson Valley High School. Those two schools are sought after by a lot of people. There's other good schools in the area too, just kind of depends on where you live in Bulverde, but those are two that I often hear clients asking for or wanting to live, make sure they live in like Smithson Valley High School. So that's definitely a plus about the Bulverde areas, that's usually covered, depending on where you live, but for the most part, those two schools will cover the area. Now, one additional thing, not really school related, but is the library here in Bulverde. The public library is great. They just got done expanding it and making it bigger, and it's really nice in there. And they got little private rooms to go. You can study or hold meetings and stuff like that. So definitely a plus as well is the public library. If you'd like to be outside and kind of outdoorsy, Bulverde is just a few minutes away, and I say a few minutes, probably about 10 minutes away, depending on where you live, to Guadalupe State Park. It's one of the best parks in my opinion. My wife and kids, we love going out there. We have a season pass here for the state park. You can go down to the Guadalupe River and skip rocks and play, and they have a ton of trails, and you can just spend all day out there easily and go camping or picnics. It's just a really good park to go at, so super fun there. Also, Bulverde has a good little city park right off of the main street downtown Bulverde, so it has some trails to walk around that are concrete, and a good playscape, and just lots of good things. Again, my wife and kids, we like to be outside, so we go there quite often to just run around and get the energy out of the kiddos. One thing about Bulverde is that for the most part it's an older community, and the homes are older. And when I say older, some are like super old and some are like 10, 12 years old, and of course we have our newer developments too. But some of the older homes or more established homes have bigger lots. Some of them are 1 acre lots, 2 acre lots and bigger, and some are a little bit smaller. But you're not going to have the really small lots here in Bulverde for the older homes. Now, we do have the newer developments coming in where it's a small lots, and I get it, not everybody wants a large lot. It is a lot of work, so we do have that. But if you want an older home, for the most part, you're going to have a bigger lot, so that can be a con as well. But we do have the newer homes, new construction coming in, so that's can be a pro and a con, depends on what you're wanting. Okay, this can be a pro or a con depending on what you think. And some people, it starts out as a pro and ends with a con. And that's the deer around here, or the wildlife. Wildlife is very abundant in most of the neighborhoods. The white-tailed deer run through the neighborhood, and they have no really enemies besides a few other natural predators. But the deer are plentiful, and you have to kind of watch out for them when you're driving through the neighborhood. But a lot of people like to feed them, and which is great, but also that can be a con, because if you're trying to grow a garden, and such as myself, that the deer will hop the fence and eat everything in one night, and then you have to start over. So that can be definitely a con, kind of frustrating as well. And speaking of frustrating, is what you put out for flowers and your decorative vegetation around your house, is that you got to be very careful what you put out, because again, the deer will come out and eat it. So it's fun to see them and watch them, especially when they have babies in the spring. The babies are running around all the time and just being crazy, so that's definitely a plus. And also in the fall, watching the big bucks come out. You haven't seen them all year, and then you get to see them. So definitely a pro and a con for living here in Bulverde is all the deer. One con to living here in Bulverde is that it's not really built up. We have the Home Depot, Walmart, and H-E-B. Those are our three biggest chain buildings or businesses at this time, but I mean, more's coming eventually. But for the most part, you know, if you need anything, you need to go to San Antonio or New Braunfels to get it. So that's definitely a con. At times it's kind of a pain in the rear to have just like, well, I got to go to New Braunfels to go get this, or down to San Antonio. But that's just part of living out here in Bulverde. So it's all in what you make of it, and also plan ahead. And while you're in town, when I say in town, San Antonio, wherever, get what you need, and then when you get home here to Bulverde, then that's you have everything that you need, and you just you know, if it doesn't work out, then you just have to wait for the next day, and or next time you're back in town. A con of living out here in Bulverde is that if you need any kind of medical care that's urgent, like trauma, or if you're having a stroke or heart attack, something, you know, major, you're going to end up going to San Antonio for the most part. It kind of depends on where you live here in Bulverde, but odds are you're going south, which is where all the good or the big hospitals are. When the closest one is Stone Oak Methodist. For anything like medical-wise, that's probably where you'll end up, especially for stroke or heart attack. Trauma, you're going to go to University Hospital. And like University Hospital is about a 30-minute drive for the ambulance itself, going, you know, lots of siren. It can be longer than that, depend on the time of day. Stone Oak is probably 20-25 minutes. So that's just one thing you need to know. Now, we do have several little clinics here that can probably take care of most of anything minor, and even some of the major stuff. They can probably stabilize you a little bit, but it's just one thing. It's just, you know, living out here in Bulverde, we can't have it all. So you just need to know that before you come out here, is that, you know, healthcare may be delayed a little bit getting to for treatment. One thing that you need to know is that Bulverde doesn't have a whole lot of restaurants. We do have a few of your chain restaurants, you know, McDonald's and stuff like that. But we do have like Tejas Steakhouse. It's like a rodeo. They have awesome steaks. Definitely one of the best steaks I've ever had is called Tejas Rodeo Steakhouse. It's in Bulverde. It's just actually a little outside of Bulverde, but definitely worth your time to go see and go taste some steaks. Another one is the Antler Cafe. It's good, just home-style food. It's on Highway 46, like you're head towards New Braunfels. So good food there. And then one of my favorites for my wife and kids is the Branch. They have a little playscape, and they have good hamburgers and good food and good service. And like I said, they have a playscape out there, so the kids can get some energy out while you and your spouse can have a glass of wine and a beer, or a good glass of sweet tea. If you're thinking of moving out to Bulverde and having everything that you ever want, well, that's not so much the case here. At this time, for the most part, we're mainly residential. We do have some stores and stuff like that. Walmart, they're not 24 hours at this time, so that's not a bad thing. But for the most part, we're just mainly residential. It's just a lot of people live here, then they commute to San Antonio, New Braunfels, Blanco, Boerne, all around. So it's just a great place to live. And but it's not everything is here. You're gonna have to go to town to get what you want sometimes. So sometimes that's a little frustrating. You just got to plan ahead. One thing about Bulverde is the price of homes. Now, Bulverde has a variety of new homes and older homes, but at this time, the median price of homes is right about $410,000 according to zipcodes.com. So, in the Braunfels, you can definitely get homes a little bit cheaper, or quite a bit cheaper. It depends. San Antonio, if you want to live in San Antonio, but then again, you don't get the nice, quiet area, just the peaceful area of Bulverde. So, you can spend more and have it, or spend less and not have it. So it's definitely, a pro and a con. Just depends on how you look at it. As you can see, Bulverde has a lot to offer. There's pros, cons. It all depends on how you look at it. So in my book, Bulverde is a great place to live and stay, and just it has a lot to offer, and we're growing. So over time, more stuff will be coming here. So if you like what you see on this, make sure you leave me a comment below. And if I can help you, make sure you reach out to me, and I'll be happy to answer any question that you have. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon.